tonight we're going to be making an apple crumb cake. This is a really delicious recipe. We're going to need 2 cups of flour, 1.5 cups of sugar, 3/4 of a cup of butter, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. We're going to need 2 eggs, 3/4 of a cup of milk, and 2 apples. Alright, the first part of the recipe is we're going to take the flour and we're going to get our flour in our mixing bowl and we're going to toss in the butter. And what we're going to do is we're going to break down the butter using our pastry blender, and I'm going to start working this and breaking all of the butter down into very small pieces. So I'm going to continue doing this and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, a few minutes later and I've broken everything down. So everything is well incorporated and all the butter is very, very small now. You can buy these little things. This is a very neat little tool. Pastry mixer, pastry blender, some people call it. And it does a really good job at breaking everything down. Once that's done, what we want to do is we're going to take all of the sugar and pour that in. And we're going to take the baking powder and pop that in. And we'll grab a spoon here. And we'll give it a little mix. Now, this is the important part. Since this is a crumb cake, okay, this is going to be what we need to do is take 3/4 of a cup of this mixture and save it for later, because we're going to be pouring this onto the mixed batter that I'm going to make in the next step. So what you want to do is mix this well, and then we're going to take 3/4 of a cup out and we're going to set it aside for later on at the end of the recipe. So once you got to this step, take out 3/4 of a cup. Alright, so I have 3/4 of a cup that I'm going to reserve for later on. At this point now, what you can do is take your cinnamon, pour that in, and mix it around. Get that well incorporated, and then we'll be on to the next step. So that's done. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to crack both my eggs. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour them in with the milk. And I'm going to get a whisk and I'm going to whisk this together. So mix this well, and then we're going to pour it in with the actual mixture, the dry mix that we created, which is over here. So I'm just going to mix this well and I'll be back. Okay, at this point my stuff is ready to go. So I'm going to pour this in. And then we're going to start mixing it. The next step, we're going to cut up the apples and dice them up. So I'm going to do that and I'll be back. Alright, at this point, I've poured my apple. I'm just going to cut it up into little pieces, bite-sized pieces, and I'm just going to pop that in. This is a very simple recipe. And the end result is an amazing, delicious cake. So there we go. Now we're just going to take all this and stir it in. What I have here is a 9-inch pan, and I'm just going to dump all that in here. Hopefully on the camera here, we'll get that in here. So once you have all of your wet part of the batter in there, you're gonna remember the stuff that we made and we reserved for the end of the recipe, well, now we're gonna use that. So this is the part that's actually gonna make this cake a crumble. So what you wanna do is take this and try to get it evenly over the whole top of the cake. And there we go. All right, we have our oven at 350, and I'm gonna pop the cake in, and I'll see you in a bit. And here is the final product. A beautiful crispy top and a moist middle. Hints of cinnamon and apple. A beautiful recipe. Try it out and let me know how it turned out. Bye for now.